Hey, welcome to Survival Preparedness for Beginners. And I hope everybody is doing well tonight. We have another jam-packed live stream tonight. I would first like to, real quick, just thank all of my moderators for being in here tonight. I see that they all are here. And I'd like to thank all the members that are in here. And I would like to thank all of you that have took the time out on this Saturday night for this live stream. Now, what was it you just watched? There's a lot of stuff that's been going on. And overall, I've been kind of disappointed on how a lot of different YouTube channels, media, and everybody else has been basically putting the fear of God in everyone that is out there. And there are a lot of channels, and I know why they do it. They're basically doing it because they want views. They're trying to basically boost their channels and everything else based on non-true findings that are actually taking place, like the Russian Ukraine with the whole nuclear power plant and all this kind of stuff. A lot of these places, they a lot of channels and a lot of the media and everything else, they come out and they're like, oh yeah, they're going to blow it up. They got bombs popped everywhere and everything else. And there's no proof. Nobody has shown any proof yet that any of this stuff has ever happened or anything else. Is this something that we should be concerned about? Well, yes, I do agree that that is something that should be a concern. But what about the real things that are taking place that we all really need to be really concentrating on and focusing our attention on what is actually taking place? That we need to be trying to figure out a plan for. We have so much stuff that's going on just in our own country, let alone what's going on all around the world, that is actually happening right now. And what is being done? Are you being proactive? Are you aware of the situations that are at hand? You see, I think that we really need to be concentrating on the things that we can control and the things that we know are happening, that are taking place right now, so that we are able to turn around and plan accordingly per your family depending on the size of your family, how many people maybe you have to prep for, or whatever else, your situation, where you live in this country, and everything else. We've had what? I don't know, something like 857 confirmed tornadoes so far this year. Just tornadoes. We've had massive floods in certain parts of the country. And there's a reason why we need to worry about this, and I'll get to that in just a second. We have had extreme heat that has gripped millions of people and, you know, a lot of states. And luckily, finally, the heat dome did break. We have the fires that are burning out of control that you saw in that little clip in the very beginning that has burned over almost 21 million acres up in Canada. And that smoke and stuff keeps filtering down into the United States here or there, not every day, every few days or whatever, somebody's getting some of this smoke. And the problem is it's a twofold. A lot of these fires, they're just going to let them burn out. Now, a lot of these fires are starting to get somewhat down close towards the Canadian American border. And what they're really worried about now is these ground fires. Now, somebody did make a comment in a video. So I saw that comment and I was like, that could really be an issue here. So I started doing a little digging on that very topic. And unfortunately, I didn't do a screenshot of that person's uh, comment. And they were talking about these ground fires. And a lot of people were saying, well, we haven't heard anything about this, haven't heard anything about this. Well, when I started doing some digging and investigating, this is a very big possibility that this could be a whole nother problem down the road, that these fires could continue underneath the ground, burning up all this vegetation, and still, even through the wintertime, as long as they can get oxygen, they can keep burning. So we have these fires and stuff, and a lot of different agencies that are out there are concerned that some of this could spill over into the United States at some point in time. We know these things are burning. We've all experienced it in one way, shape, or form. Now, down here in Florida, obviously, we haven't got any of the smoke, but it's come down as far as northern Georgia, Tennessee, those areas. I mean, it's not that far away from us. On top of what we have to really consider here is, like you did see in the clip in the very beginning, if you're just joining now and you don't know what I'm talking about, when this is over, go back and at least watch the very beginning of the video and you'll understand what I'm saying. These fires are producing a ton of smoke and ash. The smoke is filtering down with the jet stream that is completely crazy right now. It's not normal or anything else. And when the sky is filtered with this smoke, it is affecting our growing season. Now, if you do any type of research or anything, and if you look at what the farm reports and stuff are saying, here's the problem. In these reports, they are talking about a few different topics: the extreme heat that's affecting the farmers and their growing season, the smoke, which is affecting the light that is coming down, and basically the plants are not getting enough light in order to grow. On top of, you have these extreme storms, 800 and some odd confirmed tornadoes. These systems are not hitting just, towns. They're going through these farm fields on top of some of the largest hail that's been recorded in our country in a long time. The farm report did say it's going to be a long time before they can actually figure out what is going to take place and how this is going to affect the growing season and how it's going to affect our harvest. Basically, in a nutshell, the way that I took what they were saying was they're not really going to know until the harvest is complete. Now, what does that mean for me and you? If all of a sudden this stuff isn't, the farmer that planted X amount of crops and everything else, and he's assuming that he's going to get this amount of yield at the end of the year when he harvests, and then he falls short, what happens? It's going to drive up prices. There's not going to be certain things that are going to be on the shelves. And we need to be preparing for that. This is something we know that's going to happen. Now, what's taking place out in California is a lot of the dried up lakes that have been dry for decades, all of a sudden now are filled with water. And all those fields and all those grape, where they plant grapes, orchards, there's a ton of stuff out there that is now lost. It's all underwater because these lakes that were dried up for decades are now overfilling their banks. And they are trying to figure out with the Army Corps of Engineers on how to reassure some of these levees and build levees to stop the water from filtering into some of these towns because there's so much of it. They had a massive, huge snowpack that has been melting off as we are talking right now. It's still melting. And all this water runs downhill, unfortunately. And we are the ones that are going to be paying the price for this. Unfortunately, yes, the farmers are too, because they have loss of land and everything else. But here's the thing. If it was a lake at one point, wouldn't you think that at some point in time, you might want to just say, hey, it may not be a good idea to be planting a lot of crops in here because what happens if it turns back into a lake? I don't know. I'm just throwing that out there. You guys comment what you think. But I really, truly believe that we really need to sit back and really take a look at the things that are going on. We have right now in this country, a lot of people are just not really happy with what is going on with the government. All right. And the poor leadership that seems to be taking place. Now, that is a precursor to what is going to be coming in the next year. Next year is voting year, 2024. So a lot of stuff is going to start happening towards the end of this year as they start ramping up and they start knocking people out, like of the Republican Party and everything else, and they start whittling it down to whoever may be the nominee. Now, are they going to be going up against Biden, or are they going to have to choose somebody else? I think personally, if they put Biden up against anybody, I don't think he's going to win. So if it was a Democrat, I would be trying to find somebody else that could hopefully do a little bit better than what Biden's going to be able to do. He's basically too old at this point in time to be doing what he's doing. And a lot of people agree with that. A lot of Democrats agree with that. And then on the other side with the Republicans, is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be DeSantis? or is it going to be one of the other ones? I mean, I don't even know how many people are in the Republican side running now. It's just ridiculous. I don't even know who half these people are. You got Chris Christie, I know him, Nikki Haley, but then there's all these other people that are just jumping in the race, and I think what is there a couple of billionaires or something that jumped in the race? It's like, all right, look, we need somebody that has an idea of how to run and deal with these issues and stuff that we have that are taking place, and maybe that don't have a lot of baggage. I'm just saying. But, time will tell. We'll see how things fall. Also, the inflation in this country is just out of control. This past week, the numbers did come out on the amount of jobs that were created, and they broke even. First time in, I think, since the pandemic. Now, what does that mean for me and you? And what does that mean for everybody else? Now, hopefully, that's going to mean that it's going to make the feds happy, because the feds aren't happy until the unemployment rate starts going up. I know, folks, it doesn't make any sense, but you know what? Research it yourself, and you're going to see they want the unemployment rate up there between 5 and 6%, and they want people out of jobs and everything else, and it just doesn't make sense. You would think as a country, you would want people to be working and things to be flowing. So hopefully, what I'm hoping is that with that being flat, meaning that they didn't create basically any new jobs or anything else, and maybe they won't have to raise the interest rates again. Because I think if they raise the interest rates again, it's really going to put us into a pickle. And this is something that is actually taking place. We all know they've been raising the interest rates. Another big topic is right now that we're dealing with is immigration. And with immigration, I mean, I'm all for people coming to this country legally. Let me say that one more time. I am all for people coming to this country legally. If they followed the right processes, just like millions of people have done throughout the history of this country, and they're here, they're legal, the whole 9 yards, no problem. I have no problem with that. It's the other ones, the illegals, that's what we're paying for. And a lot of people really don't take too kindly to that, if you know what I'm saying. Will we ever actually get the border closed off? It would have been nice if that wall probably would have been built, but I have a funny feeling that they would have tried to figure some way around that. Where there's a will, there's a way. Remember that, folks. Maybe not as many that have just flooded into the country. It might have been a little bit more difficult for them, but I think this is a very big question on how to put a stop to what is taking place at this point in time. The economy in general is something that we really need to be worried about. There is a lot of people that are out there right now, and maybe you're watching this video, and you're having a real hard time making ends meet with the high inflation that is out there, with meeting your goals as far as being able to afford your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, your insurance. Down here in Florida, homeowners insurance is through the roof. Renters insurance is through the roof. Your car insurance is through the roof. Yeah, everybody wants to move down here and everything else. Well, I hate to tell you this, folks, but if you move down here, it's going to be a sticker shock for you. For the simple fact is the insurance prices down here are just out of this world. Doesn't matter what kind it is, it's out of this world. So you might want to do your homework before you pack your bags and start heading for the sunny side of the United States. Um, there are a lot of things that are taking place where people can't afford food. I've received a few emails and people wanting ideas, and these people really um, give me a lot of their information as far as, what their monthly expenses are, what they're bringing in, and how can they navigate the loss between the money coming in and the money that has to go out in order just to basically survive, and how can they prep. And it's a very hard question, because a lot of these people, from what they have said in the emails that I have received, is, I mean, it's not like they're going out to eat all the time. They're not buying coffees at Starbucks. They go to work, they come home, they eat at home. They don't really go out. They don't do anything. They're kind of like just like stuck in their home or at their job. It's one of the two. And they still can't afford to try to do any prepping that they so do desire to do, which maybe there's quite a few of you like that are out here. Um, so it's a really hard time right now in our country. We have a lot of things that I think, if in general people would really sit back and think about and understand that, you know what? I mean, we as a country really have a lot of problems that are taking place right now. And we don't need any other, BS stories or anything to freak us out and all this kind of stuff, because we got enough that's true reality that's happening to us right now that we have to deal with. People go to the store, and I have seen it happen. People have gone to the store and voila, I mean, they're having to put stuff back, or, have the cashier get take that off and that off, because they only have so much money and that's it. And they know what they got. So, it is what it is. But that's pretty sad when a lot of these people are working people and they still can't make ends meet. Why? Why is it that for some reason the working class is getting penalized once again because of all the different situations that are taking place across the country? The poverty, the hunger, the homelessness is everywhere. It's in every state. No matter where you go, you see it. You see people standing on our street corners. You see people at the grocery stores when you're coming out of the grocery stores. You see people, they're everywhere. And it's only getting worse. And what are we doing to correct this problem? And that's where it falls back to the poor leadership in the government, my opinion. I mean, these people have probably come on hard times. Maybe they lost their jobs. Maybe the company they work for has closed or whatever, and then you filter in the crime and the violence and everything else. It's just unreal. Down here in Florida, you can't turn the TV on in the morning without it coming on with breaking news. This person was shot, that person was shot. This person, it's every single day. And maybe in your state, in your city, you see the same thing. I'm sure if you live in a major area, New York, DC, Chicago, Dallas, all these areas where there's a huge population, Philadelphia. I could just sit here and name them all off. Seattle, San Diego, Los Angeles. I mean, these areas are having a hard time dealing with the crime and the violence, and everybody is so eager. This may rub some people wrong, but I'm sorry. As everybody is so eager, it seems like, to jump down on the cost because they did something wrong, or the way they did something or everything else. It's like, all right, before we pass judgment, Let's find out what the whole situation was and what happened on both sides. And then we can make a determination on, if you're going to hang the guy or what you're going to do. I mean, because these people go out there every single day and they're the ones out there that are supposed to be protecting us. When your kids are walking to school, or when you are out for a jog, or when you are at the mall, I mean, nowadays, there's police officers everywhere, sheriffs and everything else. And I have to say, here in Brevard County in Florida, we have a great sheriff. I love the sheriff that we have here. He takes no BS from nobody. Um, and he is a very, very good sheriff. In the state of Florida, we have quite a few of those. Um, they have set a precedence, and they don't like to, somebody does something wrong, does anything. Let me tell you what, these guys are going to hunt you down and they're going to find you if at all possible. But we need to really get back to the things that we can control. We also have to take into consideration, I have a video coming out later this week, but just for a quick update, we have UPS and the Teamsters that are no longer negotiating either way, back and forth. Both of them have walked away from the table. Maybe some of you have seen in the news where one side says, they walked away. The other side said, oh, no, they walked away. It doesn't really matter. The whole point of the thing of it is nobody's talking. And that's not a good thing. Because come August 1st, this is going to be affecting a lot of people, and that video will be coming out this week. And I urge everybody to watch that video on the simple fact that you really need to think about a few things. And I cover in that video, especially, you're just going to have to watch the video, because you got to really start making some plans now here, folks, because things are going to get real hairy. And the government, I will say one thing, the government has already stated that they are not going to step in. They're not going to get into being the mediator between the two, UPS or the Teamsters. They're staying out of it. So we'll see how this all plays out. But when it comes to what you are seeing and what you're watching and what you're hearing and everything else, you need to try to stay focused on what is at hand. You are the ones, and you are the only ones that can control how you react and what you do and how you plan and what you do to be prepared. We know the storms are going to keep coming. We know the tornadoes are going to keep falling. We know the smoke is going to keep rolling in. We know that this is going to be hurting our planting season and the farmers, and we don't know what the outcome is going to be until fall. And if you wait until then, it's going to be too late. On top of, also, I have mentioned this before, in September, you need to really start really thinking about buying a lot of different products that you usually would only buy mostly in the winter. You need to start buying those products now. And the reason I say this is because there has been a couple released articles and stuff that have been out there floating around on the internet. And they're talking about how a lot of these companies come September are going to start raising the prices and everything on a lot of the medicines and things that you need for your colds and everything else throughout the wintertime, from Vicks to NyQuil, to Dayquil, cough medicines, anything that has to do that can relieve any of the common cold is going to be going up. Also, in those articles, it does state that you're going to see a lot less sales this year coming into the Christmas season, into the fall, into the beginning of winter. And you're going to see probably a lot more less of the buy one, get ones. Yes, they're still going to be out there, but you're going to see less of them. Reason being is because these corporations are trying to cut back and they're trying to control their market and what they have on the shelves so that things don't run dry and look empty like they did in previous times. Um, so that, when you walk into the store, it looks nice and full and everything else, but you're not going to be saving the money. Also, coming in September is going to be more shrinkflation, where you paying the same price, but you're getting a lot less. Kind of like when you go to the store now, you can't buy 5 pounds bags of sugar. It's been that way for a long time now. But just to give you an example, it used to be 5 pounds. Now it's down to 4. So they're going to start doing that with flour. In the video that had come out today, because there's some good sales going on at some different stores and stuff, I threw a quick video out there today because I wanted to bring people aware. Maybe some of these stores and stuff are in your areas, so you got an idea what's going on and some of the sales. But there was one of these where they had a 5-pound bag of rice for $7.99. By all means, if you hate Walmart, it doesn't matter. Go to Walmart and buy it because you're not going to pay $7.99 for a 5-pound bag of rice. That's just highway robbery. People, if you're paying that kind of price for rice, there's something really wrong. But could that be the future? That is a question. We don't know. We don't know what the future is going to hold as far as the food prices and everything else, because some people are saying they're going to go up. Some people are saying they're going to stabilize. We don't know which way this is going to fall. So what do? This is where we have to plan. This is what we need to be doing at this point in time. Because if you really sit back and you think about what is taking place in this country and what we can control and how we can control it and what we can do to make sure that, we're set up, we're ready to go, and things will run smoothly in our homes, in our households, for our families, because we have a backup. Unlike where if we're trying to plan for something that we don't even know what the hell's going on, especially like with overseas and everything else. Every time you turn on the news, something else has changed. This person's in charge. This person came back into Russia. Oh, well, they put these bombs around there. Where's the proof? No, we don't have it yet, but we know they did it, And then you have Ukraine saying, well, they're going to blow it up. And you got Russia saying, well, what? They're going to blow it up. They're going back and forth. What good does that do us? We need to plan for what we got right now. Plain and simple. Put all that other stuff aside. Because statistically speaking, if you look at these little charts that come out, and I know this ain't going to pick this up, I don't think. No, it's not going to. But the very last one at the very bottom is national security, and that's 1% that the American people are really concerned about. The top thing on the list is the government. So we go from the government being the top on the list to national security and worried about World War III at 1%. Just saying, folks. Does that mean we take our eye off the ball? No, it does not. That's not what I am saying. And I'm not saying what some of these channels and some of these news media and everything else, I understand they're trying to bring you the best news that they possibly can bring you and everything else. But sometimes I just think it's a little bit overkill, if you get what I'm saying. And maybe a lot of people, maybe enjoy that kind of stuff, or maybe you like hearing doom and gloom constantly 24/7 for, 30, 40 minutes or an hour at a time or whatever it may be. But, it is what it is. All we can do is plan for the moment we live in. We know what is taking place. We know what is going to be happening. And that is where we need to be putting our money. Now we do have what? Amazon sale days coming up. Well, depending on what your situation is, I can probably almost guarantee you that everything at Amazon is going to be on sale. And here's why. Amazon sales have been way down. They need something to kick that back up. All right. They're going to be fighting with Walmart once again because Walmart's going to be doing sales too. So the two big e-commerce people at this point in time, and if you watch my video tomorrow, you're really going to see what I'm talking about with Walmart because they have some plans in store. And actually, at the very end of this live stream, you're going to get a sneak peek. Everybody is going to get a sneak peek of tomorrow's video that comes out at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But you have these two huge entities that are going to be going up against each other. Amazon really needs the sales. Walmart, oh, they're doing pretty good. Amazon is hurting, and they need to come up with a solution, and they need these sales. And that's why I think just about everything on Amazon is going to be on sale one way or another. And they need to make sure that this really goes through. And luckily for them, since UPS does handle 25% of all Amazon packages, a quarter of their business that nobody else can take because the post office is already maxed out. FedEx doesn't want anything to do with it. So Amazon is going to be hurting if something does happen between UPS and the Teamsters. But luckily for them, by the time that this sale is over from the 11th and 12th, everything will be cleaned up and out of the way within a week of the final day of the sale, depending on where you live in the country. So they'll be past that, and hopefully they'll be able to post their multi-billion-dollar profits because that's what they're looking for. Like Walmart has been doing with their e-commerce. And I talk about that tomorrow. Because they're making more money right now, folks, in their e-commerce than they are in their brick and mortar. Where do you think that's going? Tune in tomorrow. It's going to be quite interesting. So I think that the one possible thing that we all could be doing right now is evaluating our own situations. We all have different situations that we are really in the utmost possibilities that everybody's situation is different. And does that really mean that you can't prep because things are really, really tight? And my response was to some of these emails was you have to find some way to try to turn something around or to try and if you work maybe say a few extra hours at work or whatever else, and if you can put that into try to build a small stockpile of food. Now obviously these people that have emailed me, and maybe there's a lot of people out there that are in the same boat, they're not going to be able to get a 3 6 12-month supply of food. That is just out of their range. It ain't going to happen, and no matter what they do. But could they build up to maybe a 2-week? I think so. I think if it's all on your strive to get this done. It's all on how you budget what you have, and it's all on how you can hunt for the sales that are out there. There are several ways that people can really do this and try to maximize the amount of money. And if you live in this is where if you live in a metropolitan area, where in town in a big city or something like that, and you have stores all around you, This is where this would be to your advantage compared to somebody that lives in rural America. For once, you have an advantage over them. And the advantage over them is you have the availability of looking at a lot of sale prices and picking and choosing where you want to go to buy certain products. Now, I know people that go to several different stores because they're probably within a 3 or 4 mile range. And they go into each different store and they buy the products that are on sale and they use their coupons and everything else. And they go from store to store to store to store until they accomplish and get everything that they want. And this is how they are saving money. Whereas the person that lives in rural America, now granted, okay, you may have your farm, you may be growing food, you may you have your chickens and you have a cow and you're getting milk and you're making your own butter. Um, you know, but at some point in time, you still need different products. And that's where companies like UPS and FedEx come into, even the post office, and you can order stuff online and have it delivered directly right to your house. Toilet paper, paper towels, unless you got a mill out back and you're making all this stuff. There's certain things, I mean, soap, yeah, a lot of people can make their own soap, but they tend to usually buy it. A lot of people have to order dog food, cat food, cat litter, a lot of these different things. And it makes it very difficult because the closest store for them could be an hour plus ride away. Whereas in you people that live in the big cities, you almost could walk to all these said stores and buy it right there and then bring it back home. The people in rural America don't have that luxury. So they're going to be the ones that's really going to be hurt um, if anything does go down on August 1st. And so they need to really be thinking about what they're going to do and how they're going to plan. And like I said, there is a video coming out this week that people really need to listen to. We are on the verge of a major shift in this country right now. The amount of people that are on the amount of people that are really hurting is starting to grow. And I'm afraid that these people have not heeded the warnings. Maybe they've watched the videos, but they just don't subscribe. I mean, they don't see the reason why they need to push that button and try to do what they can to preserve any food for a later date. And speaking of pushing buttons, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe, and push that notification bell because this way here you get notified. Because I know there's a lot of out there that are watching right now that are not subscribed. I see the analytics, so I can tell. You get a lot of good information. There's a lot of good people here. But anyways, they don't see the reason why they need to be pushing these buttons in order for them to be prepared. They want to spend their money elsewhere. They're going to fall for these huge Amazon sales that will be coming up. Oh, big screen TVs. Maybe a new laptop. Oh, maybe a new cell phone. Oh, what else could we use? And the question is, how is that going to ensure and help you out in an emergency situation? Now, if it's something you desperately need and say you've been saving your money and you've been waiting for these 2 days to come, well, then you know what? Maybe treat yourself. But if you're just going to buy it just to buy it because it's on sale, and you could really use maybe some other type of essentials or gear or, even just some way to cook or filter water. I mean, basic basic stuff here. I'm not saying you're going to go out and you're going to become, you know, whatever. You're not, I mean, this is life. Maybe you need new socks. Maybe you need new underwear. I mean, these kind of things are stuff we go through. I get that. It's the other junk that I just don't agree with, I mean, I'm not telling people that they can't enjoy their lives or anything else, and I have never said that. But I have said is you have to really think wisely about how you are spending your money, especially at this point in time, because of all these situations that are taking place around us that we know is going on, and it's going to happen. We already know it. And for us to sit back and then not do anything or try to even come up with a plan or even have a 2-week supply of essentials, food, water, medical, whatever it could be for our families is just rhetorical to me. It's kind of like taking your shoes off and walking across the fire. Oh, yes, there are fire walkers out there. Yes, I know. I've seen some. But the normal Joe out there, as soon as his foot hit that, guess what? He's done. And that's the point I'm trying to get across here. Once you have your preps and you have everything else set and you're ready, yeah, you're always going to be topping maybe some stuff off and all this. I mean, you talk to any prepper, they could be prepping for 30 years. They're always topping this off, or they come up with a new idea. They want to do this or that. There's always going to be something that's going to be done. But once you are done with all that, well, say you wanted that new big 75-inch big screen TV. It looked good hanging on your wall, so you could watch me. Then by all means, go for it. You're prepped. You're ready. If you have the money and it's not going to interfere with any of your plans or what you've been doing or your family, go for it. But if not, it's a whole different equation, because we have a lot of people out here that are suffering because of a lot of the devastation that's already took place. All these camera crews and stuff, they roll into these towns when these tornadoes hit and everything else. And you're there for maybe 3 or 4 days. Oh, there's another one. It hit another state, hit another town. We all got to go there. And they're gone. And you never see anything after the good old camera leaves and what's left. You know what I'm saying? And these poor people are suffering. They're trying to figure out how to rebuild their homes, try to figure out where they're going to work because their jobs are gone. Their homes are gone. Some of them are living in tents. Some of them are lucky they've got family they got to go to, but not all of them. They're trying to figure out where their next meals are coming from. And with a tornado, it's a good idea of why you don't store all your preps in one place. All it takes is one. It comes through, boom, everything blows apart. And okay, yeah, you lived and you walked away, but everything that you worked so hard on is now gone. So if you have the availability to store your preps, at least some of them, at another location other than your own, I would highly suggest that you really look into doing that, because then it's going to cover you when the shit hits the fan. And at that point, it's too late. You can't you can't hold on to that bed mattress laying over the top of you and try to hold on for dear life as the tornado is going over your home and destroying it. Doesn't work that way. So here's my final thing, folks, before I'm going to go over here and take in some comments and say hello to a lot of people. But I think everybody just needs to really take a chill pill, because what's being done and said and everything out there and how things are coming across, whether people mean to do it this way or they don't, doesn't really matter. Start planning for what you know is happening right now, what you can control on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, what you know that is happening, what you know that is coming down the pike, what you know is how you need to be preparing. And depending on what part of the country you live in, you maybe be preparing for something totally different than I am, or somebody that lives in the Northeast, or somebody that lives in the South, or somebody that lives out West. You see, we all have different things that are taking place all at the same time. So for me to sit here and tell you exactly what you have to do, you have to take all the information that I have been giving you for the last 3-4 years, and you have to take and start processing that. I mean, if you need help, by all means, reach out to me. You can always go back and watch some other videos, old videos. There's 900, almost 1,000 now. And this way here, if you need a refresher or something like that, it'll give that to you. It will help you out, and get you on the right track so that you and your family, in the end, will stay safe, stay well protected, and always be ready for what we know is coming. And if you're ready for what we know is coming, if something pops up along the way, guess what? You're prepared. It's the name of the game. You guys are holding the aces. Are you going to hold them? Or are you going to fold? That's the question. And I hope that you hold them, because you're going to need them. And those aces are your essential supplies that you put up in your cupboards, pantries, closets, under your bed. I've shown you how to do all this. There's a million and one places that you can store stuff, you can put stuff, you can move stuff around. Where there's a will, there's a way. And I have the utmost faith in all of you that you can do it. Sometimes you have to put those blinders on and concentrate what is at hand that you know is going to happen. You've seen the writing on the wall. Maybe you live in farm country. You're looking at those fields going, hey, this ain't going to be good this year. Look at that. No. All right. We got to start doing something here, because you're getting a firsthand look at it. Whereas in the city slickers, they're just sitting back and they'll notice it when they walk in the grocery store and go, shit, there ain't nothing in here. See what I'm saying? So everybody has their advantages and they have their disadvantages. The main advantage is I'm always going to be here trying to make sure that I give you these little prep talks. I try to make sure that people are upbeat. I try to make sure that everybody understands the importance of what is at hand. Because in the end, if you don't have your food and your water, your essential supplies and everything else, and all of a sudden there's nothing at the stores, what are you going to do? Whether it be caused by Mother Nature, whether it be caused by a war, depending on who you're listening to, whether it be caused by another shipping container catastrophe that, stuff isn't getting over here, supply shortages, strikes, whatever it is. But if you're prepared, you don't care. You just don't care. All right, folks. I'm going to jump over here, and don't forget, don't everybody start taking off yet, because I'm going to go through and see a few people here and say hello, take a few questions, and then you all get to see the sneak preview of the Walmart video that's coming out tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let me jump in here. All right, let's see here. James Brown. Let's see here. Chuck, if you go on strike, I'm here to help. Where to go? If you need, I'm sure others on this channel will too. Well, thank you very much. I really do appreciate that. I need someone to put my posts up for my American flag. Stop jumping on me. Someone took down my flag. I could use some assistance. Oh, wow. Sorry about that, man. All right. Sylvia's here from Florida. JT, as always. Southern Homestead. Nice to see you. Let me scroll up here. We have Jan and Coffee First. I did see Florida DCL in here somewhere. Thanks for all your hard and brilliant information. I wouldn't say brilliant. Don't give me that much consideration here. I do a lot of digging and everything else. And I also try to make sure that, I want to make sure that people understand this is what we got to be doing. Let's see here. The post office will absolutely have their hands full after UPS goes on strike. I was reading that the post office has a no strike clause. Yep, that is true. Let's see here. Miss Red, how you doing? Seeing a lot of new names in here. She says, we are emptying an unused bedroom and using it for more preps. Exactly. And you can also buy those bed frames, and I've done videos on them, and you can buy the bed frame that's a little bit higher up off the ground, and totes actually will slide underneath there, and you can either gain more space right there. Keith, how you doing, Keith? So, do people plan on being in some kind of bunker for at least 10 years? I don't think people are planning to be in a bunker. I'm not planning on being in no bunker, and I've never even said that. But there are channels out there that will tell you you need to get that bunker and you need to be in there. So, if that's the kind of information you're looking for, you you know where to look. I'm not going to say anymore. Well, let's see here. Hold 'em and fold 'em, Charlie Daniels. Yes. Let's see here. Sandy M, how you doing? Now I got Kenny Rogers' song in my head. Thanks. All right. Let's see here. Florida Chick, how you doing? I hear you all are super hot out there. I feel you all pain. It was a heat index 110 the other day. Yes, it was. Miss Red, I definitely need to beef up our first aid supply and need to order Jace Medical. Yes, you would definitely want to make sure you have a really, really good first aid kit and cover all your bases and everything else. And this way here, besides your food and water, first aid is a really, really big thing. I'm behind. I'll catch up. But if they put Biden in the ring again for 2024, he'd win. No joke. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. There's a lot of Democrats that, like I said, next year is going to be one of the wildest elections we've ever seen in our lives. They finally are putting AC in the FedEx trucks. Well, yeah, because they got to follow what's going on because they don't want a union. And it's kind of hard with FedEx because, FedEx is so broken up. You have FedEx Air and they're actually, run and they work for the company. And FedEx Ground, a lot of them are subcontractors. So they sub out, you may have one guy like on the route that I do. There's one guy and he owns like 6 or 7 routes. And he pays 6 or 7 different drivers to run those routes each day. So, that's kind of how they get around all this kind of stuff. Let's see here. I'm scrolling back up through. James Brown says he got his money back there. Look at that. That's what you got to do. You got to make these phone calls, especially like with Walmart and stuff. If you do like the online order and you have it delivered to your home and stuff, and the stuff isn't right, or you got to get on the phone or and they usually take care of it. I've never really had a problem where they haven't. Nancy, how you doing, Nancy? I feel our monetary system is going to crash. Also, being prepared to barter is a good idea. Yes. And a lot of my prepping videos, when I'm prepping a lot of different things and stuff, and that's why the reason I do things in smaller increments. I'm different than other channels. I don't pack a lot of stuff all in one bucket. Okay. I just don't believe in doing that. Now, I do have one bucket that's full of nothing but rice. Okay. But I have things that are broken up into a lot of different size increments: 1 cup, 2 cup, 3 cup. Depending on, okay, if it's flour, how many pounds. I measured stuff out. I did so many pounds. Sugar, same thing. Salt, same thing. In the event that if something ever did happen and we did have, um, something really serious went down and we were down to a barter system or something, food is going to be something good to barter with. Now, a lot of people all say you got to get gold and silver and all this kind of stuff. And if that's what you're into, that's fine and dandy. Um, but I'm telling you right now, when it comes to it, people can't eat silver and gold. They need food. So if you can pay someone, say you need something fixed on your home and you're not able to do it, but if you can barter with food, and you have a lot of different things that are in different increments as far as pounds and the whole 9 yards, um, it's going to be a it's going to be like you have gold, because they're going to be hungry and maybe their families are hungry. So that's why I'm not a big advocate of, I've watched a lot of channels over the years. They get a 5-gallon bucket. Oh, it's full of flour. I got a 5-gallon bucket. Oh, that's full of this. Certain things that, okay, I mean, if you have a nice system and you have it broken, those products and goods, if they're broken up into really nice increments throughout the whole system, I'm okay if you want to store some in a large quantity that you're never going to open unless you actually have to. I'm just saying. All right, folks. Looks like we've gone way over. Oxygen absorbers, profile bag of flour. Yes, I've done quite a few videos and stuff on that. You really want to, depending on what size a bag are you going to be using? Are you going to split it up? Are you putting it all in one bag? Um, Go back and check some of my videos on dry goods. There's a playlist and it's on dry goods. And I cover a lot of those things in there because it depends on which size of bag you're going to be using and how much you're going to be putting in there. So, all right, I'd like to thank everybody. I'd like to thank everybody for being here today. I'd like to thank all my moderators, all the members, and for everybody else that has joined in and everything. Please hit that like button on the way out. It really does help. If there's nothing else that you really, want to do, just at least hit the like button. Um, Hit that subscribe and click that notification bell, because this way here, you get to join this community. And if you want to really join the community and become a member, it's very inexpensive. It's $2.99 a month for one and $5.99 a month for the other. And I'm starting to get more and more stuff going. You get early releases on a lot of different videos. And there's a lot of different things that are taking place there. So, I mean, if it's something you want to do, fine. If you don't, I totally understand. And, money's tight right now. You all do what you want to do. I'm just throwing it out there just because. And we also have um, this coming week, we have some different videos and stuff coming out. And we have, there's going to be some more polls and stuff coming out. And, oh, just so everybody knows, with these polls, nobody sees what you're voting. It's a poll. I can't see who voted, for this or that or whatever else. And I had a poll the other day, and, people were just going off the deep end over it. And it's just like, it's just a poll. So there's going to be more of those coming. If you want to participate, great. If you don't, and you're worried that somebody's going to find out what you voted, then don't vote. Just keep scrolling, I guess, but nobody can see what you vote. It's a poll. It's all done on percentages. So just so everybody is aware. Now, this video that you're about to see, this clip that's going to be coming out tomorrow at 2 p.m. It is a premiere video. It'll be coming out at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Once again, I would really like to thank everybody for everything that you've done for this channel. It doesn't matter if you're a member. It doesn't matter if you're a moderator. If you're just a standard Joe watching right now, I appreciate everything that you have done for this channel, because by just watching the video, you are helping the channel. And if that's all you choose to do, and you don't want to like the video, or if you don't like getting involved or subscribing or anything like that, you can always subscribe and not hit the notification bell. And then you don't get bothered with all those notifications, because I know for some people, it drives them nuts. And I've been told that through email throughout my career here at YouTube, that, it's just the one thing they can't stand, so they try to get, that's why I try to have videos at the same time come out every day. Like my live stream is at 8, during the week, most of my videos come out at 5. There's going to be some shorts that come out. Those are you to come out. If there's a noon one, it'll be out at noon. And if there's a night one, it comes out at 8. And, so people get to know, because they don't like their phones and everything else going off all day long because if you can't just have the notifications turned on for one particular channel. Once you turn on the notifications for one channel, they're on for all the channels that you like and watch on a daily basis. So, I can really understand where that is coming from. So from my bottom of my heart, I hope everybody stays safe. You keep prepping, and remember, you keep your head above water and keep your preps going and plan on what we know is going on right now and what is coming, because the rest of it, we have no clue. As a one person said, some channels, you maybe want to be living in a bunker for the next 10 years. Not here. I'm not. But I will be prepped and ready. So until then, I hope you all enjoy this little bit of snippet. It's a little trailer of tomorrow's video. Thank you again. I'm Survival Preparedness for Beginners, and I'll catch all of you on the flip side. The retail giant has a massive brick and mortar footprint in the whole realm of retail, but the company's dependence on those stores as its chief moneymaker might be changing really soon. Where is Walmart really stand on this particular issue? And what do they have planned for the future at these Walmarts? Because when automation comes in, there's cameras everywhere. You will be being watched, even though they say you're not. Who do you trust? AI is coming.